one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two things, three things. Thank you all for coming. Secondly is, apparently we're having some IT issues. I think that's that guy over there. Anyways, so your stuff will not be displayed on there, so you'll have to rely on your phone or whatever, or certainly ask any questions. Oh, and I apologize, I did not get here early enough to eat, so I'll be eating in between. That's okay.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Here we go. Motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Submit your vote. Huh? Motion carries 5-0. Johnny had to leave, so we're, Luke's gone.
Okay.
Concerns? No concerns, okay, no concerns. So,
No public comments?
Sure.
elementary school.
We are asked, Darla, your report.
This kind of was brought up inside council, but parent-teacher conference format continues to be, I think, positive for us. I mean, we've always had strong attendance regardless of the format, but you can see overall, we're about 90% attendance. The teachers like this format just because it gives them a little more time, and they also get a little extra work time on that whole day if their slate isn't full, so that's nice. If you didn't, I don't know if those links work on the document, once you were in the Word docs, but we are a Title I school-wide building at Burlington Elementary, so we have a lot of tasks that we have to complete as part of that funding stream. And so one of the tasks is to give a survey to our teachers. We'll also have a parent survey that we're compiling now. But you can see kind of the teacher input. And if you happen to glance at that, you'll kind of see the same, what came out of site council, Matt's Billy talking about wanting that support for MTSS. Every teacher that filled that out was like, we could use another title teacher in our building. I mean, there's always needs there. We have great people in those positions, but, we always, teachers just want to help kids as much as they can. That's, I think, true about, a lot of teachers. And so in a dream world, could we have more support people in our staff? Absolutely, because there's always a lot of needs. But overall, some good feedback there, and I'll share the parent results once we have that completed, so probably next month. And other than that, I talked a little bit about the preschool pre-enrollment. So we're looking at a large 3-year-old class, I would anticipate in the fall, and our 4-year-old class a little bit smaller. We are planning to, we usually do a screening day, one in the spring and one in the summer, but we're planning to actually extend that and do 2 in the spring. So we have our eyes on those kids a little earlier. So that'll be something we'll be working, is going through that form and just getting people called and scheduled on that screening for this spring, because that kind of helps us anticipate what special education needs we may see in the following school year. So we'll be working on that coming up. And then the last thing, real quickly, our 21st century request for proposal is very near completion. Been doing weekly Zooms with our grant writer, and he is working the final details of our budget this week. So hopefully I'll have a final draft preview on Wednesday or Thursday that has to be submitted to the State Department and received in their hands by the 24th. So that's in its final phases. So any questions for me?
How much larger is that 3-year-old class than what's now?
So this year our 3-year-old class is probably, off the top of my head, like we have some over preschool pre-enrollment form, and that didn't count any identified kids because they don't need to do it because they automatically have a
Right.
slot. So I would say we're pushing the capacity at 40 now. Probably right now in that 3-year-old class, I mean, there's probably, that's gonna go up to 4-year-old, is probably about 30 some. It's just that because we don't have community options, or as many, so 2 things have happened. Number 1, Rainbow's in closed. Number 2, Trinity's model is different than like
Yeah.
other people, and they've actually changed it, because they used to do it when Tina was there, and then a couple years after, like, I think 3-year-olds went 2 days a week, and 4-year-olds went 3 days a week, and their sessions were shorter, and so some people just don't like that. Now I think they do like a combined 3- and 4-year-old session, and maybe it's 3 days a week. It's different because they have a different instructor. So, you know, there's less capacity in our community, so when we reach full, I mean, even like this year, I mean, like, for example, like a month ago, when somebody moved into our community, they're like, well, my daughter was in preschool where we're at, we want to start her. I'm like, we don't start kids in the middle of the year, like, we fill unless you're special needs. And they're like, well, but she likes school. And I said, I understand that, but we don't take kids in the middle of the year, like, our slots are full. So like, I mean, I just think like, again, it's kind of a decision-making point, and budget impacts that, like, is there enough to open up another section? And then that might ebb and flow, is it gonna be a 3-year-old or 4-year-old? Or is it just like, this is our capacity, and, you know, people are gonna have to seek preschool services elsewhere, or those kids aren't gonna get services? I mean, that's kind of where.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think that's a little bit what Johnny was asking with Rainbow's in, and I wondered what the,
Right.
Well,
Effect
once,
is that-
once the school year starts, really, you won't know how many.
well, you really won't know until the school year starts. You
Yeah.
just gotta guess right
Yeah.
now, so.
Right, I would say, like, and for the most part, there
Sure,
are,
full.
you know, like, so we really also can't award our slots until
Yeah.
closer to the school year, so, you know, James, like, you know, from more of a family experience, like, we can't award those slots because we're prioritizing certain criteria. Some people choose to make other decisions, but for the most part, I would say people that get on our list, expect to get a slot and are planning to come to us. Now, there may be 2 to 3 a year that say, I went ahead and made different arrangements because I couldn't wait anymore to know. So
Right,
we
so you
might
can't
lose-
wait,
you know, we might lose a kid or 2 for a year or so, but I do think with that change in the community, capacity is gonna continue to be something where I mean, like, I even talked to Craig, like, so we have kind of, like, the history of preschool has changed in Burlington over time. We used to take no out-of-district kids, and then we took out-of-district kids something, and then now we're back to taking out-of-district kids, but like, if we are, if the capacity of our in-district kids is filling us up, it might have to go back to out-of-district is a no at the preschool level, and we have to wait till kindergarten. Like, that might need to be a decision that we make so that we're making, you know, to serve our own population first, and then we can look at those kids, because we would have more capacity once we get to kindergarten, because we have 3 sections.
So that leads to my next question. So what, and I don't remember what the proposal was in the new school bill, how many preschool kids could we take?
I think we still will have, like, we had 3 rooms, but like, again, we only had 2 teachers, so that wasn't, you might have space for an
Yeah,
extra section,
But
but
you
you also
have to have
have
another teacher on it.
the budget for
Gotcha.
another
Okay.
teacher.
Answer the question.
How many out-of-district kids on average do we have per?
I would say, I'd say off the top of my head this year, I would say at least 5 or 6.
I should.
I feel like we used to get them at kindergarten, but when we opened that up, like, the last couple of years, we did more at that level, and also with the open enrollment, like, once you're in, so like, if you're worried about us not having enough capacity, people have kind of figured out, like, it's smarter to come in earlier,
And get
if
slot.
that makes sense.
Right.
Guess what?
Makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Dara. Very good. Matt, you're up.
Parent-teacher conferences, again, very successful, 74% of our parents participating. One piece of feedback that I had received from a parent, I believe it was last week, is sometimes they do feel like they're pushed out the door a little bit. And so it's having the teachers and something that we're gonna talk about is those kids that we know may need 2 sessions, let's go ahead and try and get them penciled in and see what we can move around at that point in time. So maybe a little bit more proactive communication with parents saying, hey, Susie, we really probably need you for 2 sessions. Would 5 o'clock at this time work? And just go ahead and pre-schedule those.
Would that be all at once,
What's that?
stacked together?
Yes, where we would put 2 sessions back to back for that specific parent.
'Cause you would have an idea kind of that kid is gonna need more time.
Yes, teachers are absolutely should have a pretty good idea of it.
Okay.
Yep. Overall, middle school basketball wrapped up very well, both 7th and 8th grade. League champions. I think, again, it goes to show kids that are involved in activities. Now we will include the other activities towards the end of the year. Again, all of our fall activities, we're all in the distinguished category, based upon what the K-share requirements are. A big change next year that I mentioned a little bit earlier is moving away from the computer applications class, which Lee and I actually met with Mrs. Vanderpool, who will teach the business essentials class. We're gonna provide her the resources that she needs, as well as this time for any type of curriculum work that she would be paid for. And so we get away from just the one pathway to, when we change to the business essentials, we open up 4 different pathways when students at the high school. So I think that will be a good way to expand some of the opportunities for our kids within pathways. Dodgeball for Art, again, very well, a little over $7,000 there. And then there's quite a few of individual awards from the Daughters of the American Revolution that will move on. I will keep you updated as they progress through that. And then something that is not in there that was just approved last Thursday. As you're aware, a couple years ago, we changed our middle school seasons where we separated girls wrestling where they could dual sport, they could do basketball and that. Well, we separated that a couple years ago as a league, and those of you that had middle school girls, basketball seasons like that. 3 games a week, they don't have a lot of practice time. Mr. Wilson and the AD from Iowa spent a lot of time on this, and we are now going to be a lot more equal with our kids. So for example, girls and boys basketball, both will have 33 practices, 14 games and meets, 48 days of the length of season. And so that will allow our girls to only have 2 competitions a week rather than, well, we're gonna kind of give you this day off because we have 3 games this week, and the last week, by the way, you're gonna play 5. And so Mr. Wilson's done a lot of work on that to get that changed. And that will also allow us to go out and get a non-league game as well for our girls basketball team. And so that change is, as we know, is very much needed. Boys and girls wrestling will be very similar in seasons also. And we'll be able to add some non-league schools to attend wrestling. Mr. Wilson's already been on top of it, reached out to Emporia already to try and get a match with them also. And so our wrestling are, those 4 seasons specifically, boys and girls basketball, boys and girls wrestling, are more equivalent and pretty equal in those days of practice and competition. And so Mr. Wilson's done a ton of work with that. That's been very good. The only thing that will occur is the last week of girls basketball and the first week of boys practice. That first week will overlap. And so Taylor's already visited with Coach Ecton that they may have to practice some in the morning. It just kind of depends. If we have an away competition, then they would be able to practice in the afternoon after school. It could also be possibly just visiting with the rec saying, hey, we don't want to impede all the time, but could you help us out this first week? And so that work has been done, and it needed to be done. Because our time span in between the last girls sport and track is more equal to boys also. So if you recall,
Ginormous amount
yeah,
of
it used to
time.
be
I
a-
appreciate the work
yeah.
Taylor put in because as a girl mom, like,
Mhm.
I hated the inequality of the the, you know, opportunity there. So I appreciate that he put in that work to
So
make
it's been a work in progress, and that's the thing is, we are one voting member of our league, and so when we bring it, it passed 4-2. Wellsville and Prairie View were the two against it. Prairie View wanted to go into the sub-state week with some different things. We're like, we need to be done with the seasons before sub-state occurs. So, we'll give it a shot this next year, and then,
hopefully it
you know,
works.
make the tweaks that need to happen for it to be more equal across the board.
Question, so, good work on that. Pathways, you know, I think that was great that you explored the 4 pathways now for the high school. Is there other pathways that you're exploring also?
So that's what Mr. Baldwin and I talked about is I don't know that much about that. I've learned a lot more, but intro to ag could be a class,
Yeah.
possibly. And so just looking at those classes at the lower level, so when they get to the high school, they're able to.
I just think
to
it's
move
gonna
on.
make these kids more excited to kind of do some stuff, so, anyways, good work on that.
So,
So, anything else for Matt? I need to step back to Darla one thing, maybe so when you have BES, it's 3 students that are on the ESOL program, is that English as a second language? Okay, because I didn't ever read it, English speaker of other languages, so, okay. I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't a different program.
Yes,
So,
okay.
Cool, thank you.
It's written right here.
Okay, Lee, you're up.
Okay, just a couple quick things. We've had quite a few interviews for different positions over the last 3 weeks. On here, we talked about our PD. We had a very strong applicant pool. It was a pool where it was hard to not interview some of the candidates that we had that applied. It was an applicant pool that was very strong, and we interviewed 6 people for that. Did a pretty thorough interview and had a diverse team of people on those for that interview, and came away with someone that I feel really strongly about. Parent-teacher conferences, we had 93% attend over the 2 days, which was better than in the fall, which typically the fall is better than the spring, so I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it did. Based off of our data, the first evening was actually had more people attend than on Friday, when we had actually more time during that day on Friday. So I don't know if it's just coming in after work, coming in after school and getting it done on a Wednesday versus a Friday and it being all day. I'm not quite sure about that, but that's more data I'm gonna look into and see how we can, I wouldn't say spread out our attendance, but not have it to where it's so bare on Friday afternoon. So that was some interesting data there. February, we completed our testing day, which is a pretty big day for our kids. Our freshmen went to Flint Hills Tech for career exploration. Sophomores completed the ASVAB test, and juniors did the ACT, and then our seniors worked on their exit portfolios for English. So that was a pretty big day on February 24th. Mrs. Bolin does a phenomenal job coordinating all that and just organizing everybody and where all of our teachers need to go to help and who's going with the freshmen to Flint Hills Tech. So it's a pretty big day for our school, and it takes a lot of people going in the right direction and helping each other out, and wouldn't work if we didn't have that teamwork. Our awards assemblies, that's probably one of my favorite things to do in our building. Just continue to put that in here, and it's a good way to honor our kids through teachers nominating them for Student of the Month. They get their picture taken, they get a certificate, they get to meet the 2 different agencies that donate that money. It's just a really good way to create some positivity and energy with an assembly where it's focused just on different students and the awards that they've received throughout the month. So we'll do one this Thursday, and we'll do the same type of format, but just anybody that's done anything positive that needs recognized in our building. I think it's a big idea. It's a really big thing to honor our kids for a multitude of different things. Typically, you'll do that at a pep assembly once every couple months, but we do this every month, and it's kind of starting a tradition in our building. And Usually we do it the first Monday of the month, but that didn't work out this one, but it's one of my favorite things to do in our building, each month. Skip down activities, and see if you have any questions first.
I do really quick. How are they nominated? Is it by like staff or is it by like their peers or
The students are nominated strictly by the staff.
just
So
by the staff?
if they win, it's by the staff, and part of our BLT conversations, we're constantly trying to, hey, is this the way we wanna do this? Is there a different format for next year that we would like to do? But this year, it's been nominated by staff members, and then when I conduct those, I call the parents and say, hey, your kiddo's gotten nominated, would you like to come in and hand them their award? And we had parents do that last time, so it's a way to promote positivity and that positive behavior focus that we've tried to do in our building this year. So some may say it's not a lot, some may say it's too much, but I feel like it's something I thoroughly enjoy doing that every month, and just getting to see some kids honored for different things than you would typically see at a pep assembly. So it's just,
I think it's a great idea.
it's something that's really worked for our building this year. In February, we conducted a professional development day with first and second year teachers where I took them, I took our first and second year teachers to Ottawa. Contrary to popular belief, we do mentoring stuff for our first and second year teachers. So our first and second year teachers went with me to Ottawa, and they observed a teacher in their content area for 3 hours, and then they also observed Ottawa does a power hour very similar to ours. If you're familiar with our high school, we have a unique setup over lunch that's not typically, you see at a lot of schools. So I think it was important for our teachers to see how a different school operated and did theirs. And we're making some adjustments to ours based off of the needs of our teachers and our students. So really tried to hit home with our first and second year teachers to go observe other schools, see what they're doing, and then we came back and had a meeting and reported what we saw, what went well, what didn't went well, and then what we can do moving forward to continue to improve with them. Activities and athletics, I won't read all these things word for word, but obviously, all of our different programs have had different success over the course of the last month. If there's any questions about those particular activities, I'm willing to answer some of those. I didn't want to read word for word on all of those, but if they ask any questions, I'd be glad to answer that.
The art stuff where you said, you'd love for them to present to board members, I think that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will, and Ms. Spangenberg does a fantastic job with our art department, and yeah, that would be something that, if you guys would like, we'd be more than happy to bring our kids down here and show them their work, and we had some students that got honored.
Cheryl, then,
Yeah, so, yeah, we can definitely get on that, and, yeah, a lot of good things in our art program right now, so I feel like our school does a really good job of giving an opportunity to every kid in a multitude of different areas, so it's, some really good stuff there, so. Any questions for me?
Thanks for that report. Really good, the awards thing, I kind of like that part too, to see the kids all that, and Miss Spanglenberg, she really does a great job.
Yeah.
She got the National Honor Society now for the art deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And then, with the kid win, that was from last year, I think they started that last year, right? And this
Yeah,
year,
so-
that's continuing, building
Yeah,
that program.
And, we have a couple kids that, Mr. Bruning thinks can qualify for nationals.
Yeah.
And nationals is in, Wisconsin this year, so we actually just talked about this year, or that today, and, got a couple kids we think that could qualify for that and make that journey up to Wisconsin and do that, so, it's very impressive to have this many opportunities for our kids in a school this size. You just don't see that.
Well, I don't speak for myself, but I think this board supports all of those programs. I think it
Absolutely.
really makes our kids thrive. So.
Yeah, you just don't see a lot of schools this size have the opportunity like a kid win. It's very rare, so.
You might visit with Mr. Marshall early if you're talking about, if you think a couple might go to
Yeah.
nationals, so you can get some stuff worked out. ahead
Yep,
of time.
and we talked about that today, and just, once that gets announced, we'll definitely get that done, because they would actually leave, oddly enough, the day of graduation, so, yeah. some logistics to work through there, so.
So can I have one thing that
Yeah.
I forgot to add to my board report and
It
something
leaves
that,
them.
okay.
You're doing well. It's not your time slot.
It was talked about a little bit earlier in the site council, and Matt has brought it up too, so we talked about different pathways, and there was some wording that was brought up about completers.
Yeah.
Just not sure if everybody understands all those things. So essentially, what we did with the business essentials class is that is an introductory level class to 4 different pathways. When you have all these different pathways, the goal is to actually have the kids complete the pathways, which means you have to take 3 different level of classes in there. You take an intro class, an applications class, and then a completer class. It looks good offering all these things, but if you don't have kids actually completing them, it just looks cool on a piece of paper.
Right.
So offering business essentials at the 8th grade level gives our kids more opportunities to actually complete these pathways. And for the first year, probably won't do that. But again, when I took our 1st and 2nd year teachers over to Ottawa and we went doing those elective-based classes, those kids were talking about, man, I want to complete this class. And not just like complete it with a grade, but actually get the certificate that says, I've gone through and completed this pathway. And that school was very impressive that these kids have been trained on these things and they actually understand, hey, this is what this means if I actually complete this class. So offering this small change would give our kids more opportunities, and not just a business pathway, but our foods pathways as well. So it's our family consumer science. So it's offering our kids more opportunities to complete higher level classes, and then it's gonna be our job at the high school to see which ones of those they are taking, and then how can we start getting more kids to actually complete that pathway. Offering the pathway and not completing it, you know, like I said, it looks good on a piece of paper, but we didn't have a lot of completers because they're all,
But-
business essentials wasn't offered at the 8th grade level, so.
You have about a third of each graduating class or pathway
Yeah.
completers, which is a good amount for those who are not college bound. You know, one thing we heard from the alumni is that they enjoyed the pathways, but sometimes what it taught them the most is what they didn't want to do.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask,
When
how
a
many
lot
of
of-
them didn't complete
Is what they
because they
didn't
changed
do.
their mind
Yeah.
on like, hey, this isn't really what I want.
Yeah, but doing that introductory class in 8th grade gives them the opportunity to change their mind and get into a different one if that's
It can't hurt.
right.
This,
Right.
it can't hurt. So in a year or two, if it doesn't help, then we'll reevaluate and see
Sure.
what else we can do, so.
I appreciate just looking at it
So
from a different
it
angle.
was, I feel like that was good.
It's gonna help the kids that far, so.
I'll let Mr. Spring.
Okay, Mr.
continue.
Spring, you got
So,
it.
so one thing that we've been doing this year, Darla and I went to Pitt State, and Lee went to Pitt State, and then also, ESU is one we were able to, this fall, recruit a student teacher to high school ELA. And then from Pitt State, we brought in 2 people to interview. Unfortunately, they went back to their hometown. And so it has been successful, and as we're talking to kids, it's more of like a meet and greet in the fall, and then in the spring, it's the interview piece. Like, they remember us, and they come talk to us, and, we were completely.
Two schedules
full
full.
at ESU. So us going, I know we're out of the building, but going and just talking to kids, and we got some actual swag that, the kids want and remember us, and so that has been pretty successful, I think.
And I'll add on there too that, not only did Matt and I both have full days when we went to Emporia State the other day, but I had several, we're PBS school, and I had several people that stopped and said, I tried to get on your schedule, but it was already booked. So we had more people than we had slots for, and, we're gonna see, we're seeing the benefit of being at PBS school, because even as we interview people that, you know, I haven't met, but like, they're like, such and such says your school's a great place to be, so I do feel like, you know, like, the deposits are getting in our budget, like Burlington is getting a name as a place that people either want to student teach, or we're on their radar for where they're hoping to land a job, so I think that's really, I mean, we did feel like it was really positive at Emporia, last week, and there definitely is, definitely when we were at Pittsburgh, even people like, we had talked to you before, so, I think that is good.
Good.
Because I think you had mentioned before that all the wine was lined up with these others, nobody was coming to us. So
Yeah, that's true.
Let's switch back, so let's do
Yeah.
it.
And I'll just add, the student teacher we have, we actually interviewed for a position today. And the selling point for him, to get him down here to student teach, was if you do a good job, you got first dibs on this thing.
Yeah.
So that was really a selling point for that, so I feel like this could be a pretty good opportunity for us to hire somebody that's already been here for 4 or 5 months and understands the school, so.
Very good, good. Anybody else? Lindsay, can you read any of that?
So, I just wanted to point out some information that I put on there, because as we know, we're going into some financial, but looking at it from a district level stance on money, there's a state law that's in effect that says that the state will fund special education at 92%. They have not done that in a long time. Due to some other issues, like we have lower enrollment, that's gonna take a hit on us, but also the fact that they're looking to change the funding formula, we're gonna have new leadership within the state, both at the state level and of education and governor. We also, our legislators not super pro-public education. There's concerns about money in the future. So if you have the opportunity to know what that really affects, that's what I gave you. Basically, we are currently funded at 67% of excess cost. So not the 92%, but at 67%, which means that we are funding $436,000 out of our general fund to support special education. So if you need a point to raise to your legislators, and that's a major one. I've got everybody's for the state. I can share that with you, but it really impacts our general fund. If we could put $430,000 back in our general fund, man, we have needs. So that, no, I don't have all the uplifting part of it, but it's the reality to where we're at and where we're apparently going in terms of special education. So
if you wanna send a note to your legislator, reach out to Linda, she's got all their emails and stuff, so.
yeah, should all help draft.
Huh?
I'll help draft it. I even got a
There you
budget, a button that says fully fund sped if you want that. So
So you can go ahead and make one for everybody and send it to us.
Okay.
Okay, good, thank
Did
you.
you just do a presentation somewhere?
I did. I
She
just
did.
presented at the winter special ed administrators conference. Went really, really well. Had some really good feedback. So
You're gonna do it for us?
I mean, if you want to, I can. I love a microphone and I love the stage. So you just let me know what you want a presentation on.
That just made the meeting longer.
Give me a time frame.
Good, thanks. And I saw the hires are really kind of full up.
We're in a pretty good position right now, and like to get one at the middle school. We have an interview that's gonna be set up for this week, so might be able to pull that one in. We are getting late, and if things hold true to form after spring break is when I will start to see a decline again. Typically people start finding summer work or things like that, but we'll just see. We also have a lot of people who really want it. We've had some really good hires, so.
Cool, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Greg, you're up. You don't talk about tonight, so your IT stuff.
Oh.
We did all right.
Yeah.
We'll, just quickly, I mean, you can read my report. Just wanted to say that scheduling in the new system's going well at the high school, and Maddie at the middle school started on it today. We're getting ready for summer bids. Those will be presented to you in April for our summer technology improvements. I do want you to be aware of a bill that is in the legislature right now. It's kind of a interesting or scary bill. I don't think it will pass. I hope enough legislators are level-headed enough to see that there are a lot of flaws in it, but we all know that they're on technology too much, but the new bill that's been introduced would eliminate all technology from K through 5 or K through 6.
Yeah, K through 5.
And the middle schoolers, an hour a day, and then high schoolers 90 minutes a day. You know, I can't imagine what it would be like for one of our high school teachers to say, I need the computers today, so social studies and math get it today, and English you're just gonna have to wait and do
Well,
papers on another.
And going
To
On
get the
another
funding
day.
to come up to purchase books, cause they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna give it to
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
they're not gonna give
Well,
us the money to
And there's
purchase.
even a fiscal note in the bill that KSDE doesn't know how much it would cost to go to a paper-based assessment at the elementary
Maybe they
level.
should have done a
So,
little bit of research.
yeah, so
before
it's
they-
kind of scary, but it is out there. So, and it goes back to local control. You know, local school boards should be making those decisions. So anyway, that's out there.
Yeah.
But you can read the rest of my report. There's a lot of great things happening in the classrooms with technology. So, any questions?
No, thank you, Craig. Anybody else?
Thank you.
The other Craig?
Okay, I'm gonna hit on Lindsay's information, we're just, I'm gonna hit that number, $436,700. That's general fund money to fully fund special education, 92%, which is the legal obligation. Even if they cut from 67%, even if we just went to 92%, that's 25% difference. So if they would just cut that in half, we could get another 218,000 approximately that could go into general fund, increase teacher salaries, you get the idea. It's a real number. Anyway, I'll stop there. There's a number of different videos there, take about 10 minutes to watch total, from COI and Stacy Bruton. So again, just information again, following up on Curriculum Leadership Institute. And again, the work that our staff and our administrators do with Stacy is just tremendous. The alignment that we have here is excellent in terms of curriculum. So there's some information there. You can look at those videos at your leisure. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
It's nice to see they have really raised their prices in each kind of state.
Yes, yes, you'll notice that with the number of the contracts, approvals, and appointments coming up here. And then there's a whole list of information. I want to focus again on our strategic plan, because that's my main focus as your superintendent, and, you know, continuing on with Donald Wheeler as your new superintendent. That's really the focus of what your superintendent, is kind of, you know, on top of. And so, again, recruitment and retention, very, very important. There's a whole list of things there in terms of recruitment and retention, and things that we've done. I want to emphasize we have done in the district over the years. And you can see the salary increases, you can see the increase in hourly wages for paraprofessional, starting salaries have increased, our benefits have increased, so on and so forth. You know, the improvements of facilities are again, very, very important to recruiting new people into, you know, our district. The Early Burlington Learning Center is very helpful. We have 7 staff members that take advantage of the BELC. If they didn't have childcare, they might not come here. It's possible that, you know, the BELC could even be a bigger, you know, part of what we do in the community in the future, not only for us, but maybe employees in the city, county. You get the idea. Wolf Creek, all the big entities that can always use the, you know, good employees and excellent childcare. So again, there's a lot of things that we've done, and if there's any other areas that we need to continue to work on, we will continue to work on, because that strategic plan is a very important part of what we do. And one other additional good news here, Lexi Malota, former daycare director, and Lacey Johnson and myself, we have worked on a grant through the Jones Trust Foundation. We just found out, was it Friday? I think it was Friday, we found out we got the grant. We got a grant for $78,000 for scholarships for the next 3 years for kids that are in need. And in terms of being able to help out, we started out, we did this grant for half of that, but in a 3-year time period, past 3 years, we basically, well, I guess the 5 years, we're almost 5 years, we're gonna have our 5-year anniversary for the BELC coming up in June. But we've tripled the number of kids, so we went from 13,000, we upped our game a little bit with this grant, and the Jones Trust came back with $78,000 worth of grant money for the next 3 years to help with scholarships and tuition for those in need. So again, big deal there that can help out with our families and helping with the fees that they were assessed for their kids attending the BELC. And that's all I have. Any questions?
That's good news.
Was that in our, I didn't see that in there.
No, what?
It's in my
Jones
report.
Fund.
Excuse me, it was not because we found out Friday and we
For
submitted
the
the report.
back.
Okay, I was gonna say, I have not seen it on my,
We found out Friday.
Yes,
Since we all get to go back and talk now.
Yeah.
It's funny picture. Something I forgot, and I don't even agree with this, but I have reached out to Britton Park, the KSB to do strategic planning for the co-op only. So I'm meeting with him this week, to look at what that might look like. And the other thing I wanted to say is that it's on the CLI front. So, we went to the KISA accreditation team meeting, and, we were the only one that focused on literacy and not on, standards alignment. And it was amazing when we sat there and listened to where they were at in the standards alignment process, how far ahead of the game that we were because of our work with CLI. So I just wanna say like, and that's not even me, because I don't do any of that work, but I will just say it was extremely noticeable at that meeting with 3 other districts, how far ahead of the game we are here because of our work with CLI.
good. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Craig,
I-
oh, go ahead.
I think on, this recruitment and retention, Donna Lynn has some really great ideas that I'm excited about. Because it's already been brought up twice now, I think tonight, where we've lost either a new hire recently, or we've lost an intern that didn't take on a job here, and all because they wanted to go back home. So part of her idea, and I don't, we'll see what happens if, the board all supports it, but, is focusing on recent graduates, focusing on those that came from this area, that came from USC 244, and not only here, but then have come from, SCC and, Levo Waverly. So, most likely they have family here. They know what the community is like, they know what the area is like living here, and so focusing on getting those kids back. I know we recently lost one that had applied, we didn't get back with them in time, but I really would like to, have our focus be there, getting our local kids back, if they want to come back.
We interviewed one at Emporia State that graduates in December. That'd be an issue. So,
So you need to recruit 2 singles so they can get together, because nobody has, I would say that
you
nobody
can't
has
ask
a
that
date.
question.
We also have ones covering as long-term sub at elementary school right now.
Cool. Thank you very much.
That's great.
Anything else there? Nope. Okay, so we move on to board reports. You have the information there Craig has submitted. Anybody have any questions on that, or?
There's a lot of information on the elementary school, and Darla and I had a meeting today with Brian Fenwer from McCown Gordon, Mike Hattrick, also from McCown Gordon, Clark Simpson from GMC and Architects, Darla and myself. And so you have some information there, documents. You have the BES facilities results, that's the survey that we put out. And there's some information there. I don't know if you have any questions, you want to start there with that. If you have any questions, we have looked over the survey information. Darla, please chime in anytime here. We had over 222 total responses. And so we got quite a bit of information. They are a cross-section of a lot of different people. But you can see that information. I'll just stop and listen to any questions you might have, any comments.
Well, I appreciate you getting the numbers back on the renovation budget cost breakdown, and I think that's something the community certainly wanted.
Absolutely.
And I think that, we need to focus on being able to get that out here sooner than later, to create some talking points about that, so, good or bad, but,
And Darla, chime in if you have anything else you want to add.
go ahead.
We need to know, I guess, like what you guys are thinking the next step is, or.
Well, I think the next, I don't know what these guys, but so, the community has asked, I mean, they had the questions when we had the meetings, and so we kind of have put some of those questions together, and Christie has done a lot of work on that also. So we need to focus on that and then be able to provide that feedback to the community, because that's what they're wanting. Because if you see the surveys, there are a lot of unknowns there. They have a lot of people that says unknown or can't decide yet, et cetera, or whatever. So we need to focus on those high needs that we need to get out. And, you know, this one here was one of them that they really wanted to know what that cost us. Conceptual drawings, I mean, we've kind of redone some stuff there.
I did share with you, there is a drawing in there from, I'm gonna
From the
say,
first one.
version 1.0. This was before we came on board with any construction management companies. And that was an idea that looks similar to, I'm gonna say, Burlington Middle and Burlington High School. And if that's something you want to pursue in terms of a little different conceptual drawing, we can look at that. The meeting today, and I say, Darlis, if I missed something here, really what McCown-Gordon and GMCN want to kind of have an idea is what they need to do to move forward in terms of, do you want them to work on information regarding a new building with some different, I'm gonna say different parameters? 4 sections, we'll move it to 3 sections, for example. We had a gym that we were gonna have as a competition gym that would seat 750. Do we need to trim it down to 500 seating capacity? Darla and I talked a little bit about when we have elementary music programs. So just throw out just a general number. Let's just say we have 60 first grade kids. And at that music program we have in the gym, let's say they've got mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and brother and sister that come. Let's just say you got 6. So 60 kids at 6 people a person that come. That's gonna be about 360 people that would show up for a music program. Would 500 be enough for a competition gym? We could also help with overflow activities for middle and high school. So do you make it 750? Do you make it 1,000? Do you make it 500? Those are some of the details that they would like to know moving forward. Do you want to, is it a new building, if you're interested in moving forward information on a new building? Because again, the Belk to grade 5 facility at 45 million, that's gone. We're more like 47 million now to do that.
So we know that, it's going up every quarter.
About 4%. 1% every quarter, 4% a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, take 45 million and 4%, and that's about 1.8 million, give or take a few dollars.
Yeah.
So with that being said, does the board want, are you focusing in on this 33.996,678 number, so we'll say 34 million? Are you focused in on that and that's what you want? Do you want to have a comparison between renovation add-on versus a new building, and then you've got to come up with the parameters in terms of, is it a Belk to grade 5 facility? Is it a pre-K to grade 4 facility? Pre-K to grade 5? Is it a Belk to grade 4? And so that's if we are looking at those options, we just kind of need to know what to give them direction. Am I speaking? All right.
So this is what I would like to do, or propose to do. We need to have a work session. We can't do this in between board meetings, et cetera, et cetera. We're gonna have a work session that's either in the evening or a Friday, that we can get together and, spend a couple hours. And, because I don't wanna say we're going this way or that way right now until we all get together and talk about it. And as you know, we can't talk about it on emails and all that
The
stuff.
public absolutely 100% wants to know what the renovation costs are and detail that.
Yes.
I think we absolutely have to be.
So I think we need to have a work session sooner than later, so we can get this, and so we don't leave everybody hanging. Because number one is if we leave the public hanging, they're gonna lose interest in either one. Because what are you gonna do? Know what you're doing, and so.
Are you suggesting have this work session before we get the information out to the public? Or are you suggesting get the information out and then?
I do, in fact, because we need to know, because I don't know exactly how you all feel, we need to know what remodel or we're gonna do new.
Yeah, we need to be able to get all this information out to the public and get more of a feedback. I mean, we got some survey results, but 222 people
Well, but that's what I'm saying, we need to
You know.
take all that, digest it, and say, here's the direction we wanna go.
No, I don't think we're there
The
yet.
idea is to compare two things, I mean, if I can speak. is
Yeah,
that okay?
yeah.
I think it, I mean, I was at all those meetings, I mean, I feel like we had quite a few people kind of say like, they want the information on this new thing.
Yep.
But I also think we've done a lot of talking about like, if we are still considering it a new building, it isn't necessarily the same. So I think that definitely probably needs to be something that
Is it?
we just kind of figure out like, okay, maybe we don't have decided immediately if it's Belk to fifth, or Belk to fourth, or pre-K to fourth, or pre-K to fifth, but we know like, we probably, I feel like we have said many times, we would cut off the fourth classroom, right? So like, if that's for sure, let's figure out what the scope of this option B is, so then they really are comparing this is this, and this is this, because I think if we go back with one more thing, like, it's still option what it was last year, and then 6 months down the road, we're like, well, no, now we're gonna take off the fourth, whatever, and go ahead and keep the fifth, like, we just keep looking like we don't know what we want, so like, we need to firm up like what option 2 is, if you're gonna do the comparison model, I think that is really
Agree,
important.
I hate to throw out a lot of loose end details, because it's just gonna cause even more. So we have to come up with a plan.
So why don't we have a work session then, James, to
I
figure
agree.
out what our two options are,
Correct.
and then present that, and then we can get feedback, like you're saying,
Yeah. we
from
need to-
those two options.
If
And then,
anybody has any ideas on how to get people to attend a meeting to get this information,
Well, yeah, we
like
can
firsthand, if we
work
could
on
have like
that
a
too.
ginormous
If-
town hall at the gymnasium, I don't know, like,
So if
I
you read
just
some of
like,
those surveys, talk about
do
how
I
people-
need to sponsor it, or
how
like,
people
what?
would prefer to get the information. I think we need to focus on some of that in our work session, and we'll go from there. So, give me some dates in March that would work for you guys. And I don't know if you wanna do them right now, or you wanna.
yeah, can we just figure it out at the end of the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I can send in Friday
Just keep
notes,
moving.
possibly if you would like as well. Some-
send Friday notes and get back with Greg, and so
That's
we,
probably the best way to do it.
and, you know,
Well, Christy and I, we could send out an email with possible dates
Yes.
this week if we'd like.
That'd be good.
I can't just get feedback from you.
Yeah, if you give us possible dates, we can all say, these are the ones that work for us, these are the ones that don't.
thank you. And certainly, yeah, I think we've gotta move in that direction. Okay. That's all I got on that.
So.
And you do see the information on a budget breakdown, and so that
That's
is
what I
public,
thought.
yeah, that is
So-
public content, that's in public content in the board agenda. And we will start look to set up possible dates for you guys to consider.
Yeah, I would like for us to meet and then figure out a way to release
Correct.
this
Exactly right.
formally in addition to what it's available now.
Otherwise, we're gonna have a lot more questions when I
The county board is working on a one-pager as well with this information that we can put out and, public information.
I think just if this was a starting point, if they were continuing to work on it, just my initial look at it is, we had a bunch of discussion on the fire protection, and that's not called out on which line item.
It doesn't say fire.
Okay. And then interior remodel improvements, I mean, that's the big ticket item, the 16 million. Is that, could, maybe a way to look at that is per square foot, if there was a ballpark, how many square foot are we actually touching, and how much does that do? Is that all the orange or whatever that one common color between all the classrooms was? I assume that's what that line item is talking about.
Quite honestly, that's everything in the interior remodel, all interior remodel improvements that will be done in the building to make it look like the first grade wing of the new
I
library.
see the 16 million versus the rest, now that caught everybody's interest, and now they really wanna know what that means. And
And that line item does come across as the item where there's the most wiggle room on what it means.
Yeah.
So it would be very easily for somebody to grab that string and start pulling it.
That's why we do.
So we should be prepared to answer those questions.
So are you suggesting that they need to say what is included in those improvements?
I think if we could have some questions for them to clarify versus
Yes.
having them trying to guess,
Yeah.
this would be beneficial.
That's always
Agreed.
good to have it ahead of time.
Yeah, and I don't want 40 line items, I'm
Yeah.
not
No.
thinking that that's gonna be value added either.
Yeah, we always take on door.
Time and effort to get there,
I
but
think that's what they wanted.
pre-answering some questions might really
Well,
benefit.
yeah.
We could ask for them if they could give us a list, a general list, like interior remodel improvements include cabinetry and carpeting and epoxy flooring and just a general list, so I'll ask.
Thank you.
Okay,
On the cheerleading issue, I just wanted to be sure, like, all the other board members were understanding that what concern that I had brought up was just, I just want both, that sport to be treated the same as like other sports as far as what the school provides, so.
correct, and I think you
I
have,
just wanted to make sure like everybody else agreed or understood or whatever, cause it's not the board of
I
one.
think some information has been
It's all of
provided
us,
there.
so,
Some information's been provided there that kind of says where they went last year.
yeah.
We do know we have new administration, and so part of that is probably a little bit of, not everybody understanding whatever, so I
Well,
think
yeah, this
administration.
isn't, we brought it up 2 other times over the past years, like in 19 and 23, so it's like,
And it was dealt with last year,
Went on,
so,
yeah.
but so, I think that we have to be very careful, number one, if we start delving into what this group is gonna do, because now do we get involved in what the band's gonna do, and are we gonna get involved with what the track's gonna do, are we gonna get, I
we're
think
not getting
we have
involved
a
in
broad
what they-
overview and let the administrators take care of it.
Yeah, we're not getting involved in what they're doing, but we just need to provide their basic, what sport, what basic uniform or whatever that they need to perform that sport.
That's correct. I agree with you, it
Or
does equal the
activity.
cost, but I think that if you saw the last, submission there that was submitted to you today that says, here's what we provided them last year, and I think that's probably where we're going forward, so.
I think the whole board's probably just thinking it just needs to be reasonable, and consistent.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
Okay,
Yep.
roger that.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, what else do we have?
I think we can, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, everybody saw the conceptual we're going to, okay, so everybody saw that. Negotiation, did you have do we need?
Yeah, for 10, if we can do 10 in executive session.
Move to recess an executive session for 10 minutes to discuss certified contracts pursuant to the exception for employer-employee negotiations under COMA and to return to open session in this room at the end of that time, including Craig Marshall and Lindsey Graff.
Second.
Motion second, discussion? Submit your vote. Motion carries 6 there.
We're 6.
Because,
I show 806.
I guess the next one, contract approval, we're gonna start with the Belk.
Right.
Go ahead, Greg.
So we've had information, we've shared with myself, Christy Hess, Nicole Laughlin, and Lacey Johnson, director at the Belk. We feel like we need to have an increase in starting pay for our Belk. We've not done an increase at all since we started that, and we're coming on our 5-year anniversary. We feel like we can support this pay increase. We'll add some pay to our current employees because, again, we're starting our people out, new hires at this number. We're gonna increase our people currently on staff as well. So we think we can support this, and you can see that the motion is there if you have any questions.
What's the money we just put towards the Belk a while back?
That was we got for raises from the county. They did a one-time
They gave us what the
only.
county did.
One time only help with I shouldn't say raises, stipend,
Stipend,
raise.
yeah.
It was a stipend or a bonus, if you will. I'm
Right,
sorry.
just a one-time money. Motion to increase the Belk staff's wages by $1 per hour as presented.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, submit your vote. Motion carries 6-0. I have one question while we're on the third. I'd like to know, because you put in a report about, we had like 7 staff members that use the Belk. I'd like to know what other large employers in the county, what use like the city of Arlington, Wolf Creek, et cetera. Just be interested to know.
Okay, I can work on that.
It would affect all them employers, the Belk.
Yes,
It'd be worth looking and seeing if
Okay.
we could use that.
yes.
Next one is Curriculum Leadership Institute. Anybody have any questions there? That's what I was talking about earlier. I said it's nice to see that they haven't went up since 2024.
I've sat in on lots of these meetings now, and the lady's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
Very involved, the teachers are very involved as well.
yeah, I think it's a good thing, for sure. I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the CLI contract for the 2026-27 school year in the amount of $19,975.
Second. Motion seconded. Any discussion? Submit your vote.
Just one more comment on that. For that price, you can't employ somebody to do that job and be as in tune as that lady is. For that amount of cost, it's a good bargain.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Darla, Stacy's been with us from the beginning, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She has been the constant provider.
Yeah.
We haven't had like 5 or 6 different leaders.
From the beginning.
Okay, the next one is the KSB contract.
Yes, and you can see some information. Again, Christy, thank you for the historical knowledge there.
did
They have a slight
increase.
increase, but not very much at all. And the different things that we receive from KASB are just very, very valuable, very important.
I hear a motion.
Motion to approve KSB membership renewal in the amount of $10,972.52.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Submit your vote. Did it come up by motion carries, that's it. 6-0, mine didn't come up. KSB Legal Assistance Fund.
That did go up slightly there, as you can see, again, historical knowledge there, but again, it's very important to be able to have our administrators be able to contact the legal people at KASB for any things that come up that we need to have dealt with.
And motion to approve the KASB Legal Assistant Fund renewal in the amount of $3,100.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, put your votes. Mike, motion carries 6-0. Approval listing agreement. I asked them to put this, so Craig is not gonna be here, so, So I've been asked to sign this real estate agreement deal, and so I said, well, we need to introduce this to the board, let the board all understand it. And so I had some questions, and Johnny actually called me and asked us questions, so, does anybody have any questions about that, how it works, or how it's working? So, just briefly, I'm just gonna explain, so they charge a minimum of $1,000 per
So it's a 6% fee.
6% fee, but they can't do that or something on one property.
So they did have concern, so it'll
Yes.
either be a minimum of 1,000, they can't take $1,000,
Or the higher.
less than $1,000 on a sale, so it'll be 6% or $1,000, whichever is higher on each of the sales.
So I was reading it per contract, which I thought if you sold them all, then we just have one fee, well, that was not true. So it's one
Per track.
for each track, yes, correct. And so it'd be 6% of the total amount, if somebody bought all six, it'd be 6% of that total is what our fee would be.
And at the listed price there, 6% will be $1,050, so it's right in the same ballpark.
That's correct.
And if you think, again, 6,300 on 105,000, if you took 17.5 per lot, times 6 lots,
The only reason we'd be paying any more than 1,000 would be if we got a higher than asking price.
Which we'll take.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so with that, need a motion?
And all the lots are good, like, as far as utilities and,
They're all ready to sell.
yes.
So we got all that, everything's been done.
okay.
There's, yeah,
We
anyways.
have an easement agreement that
We have
will
an
approve
easement.
your instances
Right,
here.
I
to
That's
talk
part of
about.
that.
saw that, but yeah, as far as like, we can get.
Yeah, they're all ready to go. So the only thing is the city, did you fix that pipe yet or something?
No, which one are you talking about?
The water line.
The water line, the easement part?
No, the water line on the
water
corner,
line
in
in
the
that
southwest corner.
Southwest corner?
Oh, that's all part of the utility easement that we're requesting.
Yes, okay.
So we can go in and
And
lower
then-
the line
yeah.
and meet all the KDHE requirements.
Right, okay,
Because we don't meet them now with the way the ditch is built.
okay.
Oh, is that where the culvert can't go any
Yes.
lower because they be too close to the water line?
Yeah, well, the water line has already been exposed
Okay.
and it's now got dirt
But they
around it.
tried
Right,
to
for
protect it
freeze
from the weather.
protection and everything?
For free protection, right.
Okay.
And that'll all be done and opened up once we go in. We're waiting on KDHE to give us the final approval.
Okay.
Once
So-
we've got that, that will be bored in, it'll go under the road to the fire hydrant,
Okay.
and all that dirt, the valve will be put in, and
Okay.
the dirt will be cleared out, and
Well, that makes me feel better, because I did notice you put a new culvert in, but it's still not at the bottom of the ditch. So I'm glad to know that's not the final product. It's closer.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It's closer, but
so like the rest of the ditches,
I drive by it
where
every
that
day.
corner will be too.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yes,
So that is satisfy that need, that's what the next motion is gonna be after we
Yes.
do this one, so.
yes.
All right, move to approve the listing agreements with Trust Point Real Estate for tracks 1 through 6 as presented.
Second.
Motion seconded, any discussion?
Just to follow up on that question, there will be no additional accrued cost on this sale, right? Just the
Just
six
what we got,
percent,
yeah, just
no
what's the 6%.
like land title or anything else?
That's all part of the deal.
Okay.
That's the way I understand it as well, yes.
Any further discussion? Submit your vote.
Nice to see you get developed.
Motion carries 6-0.
For the sound.
Now, back to the utility easement. And so this is the easement, 10-foot utility easement on the south boundary of the 3 owned tracks. And so that's back to what we're talking about, back there, so the city can get that all fixed. And, the easement agreement's attached there. Anybody have any further questions about that?
I do have agreement. I thought that the easement started from the center of the road line. Does it start from the edge of the road?
No, the easement right now, you will see that there are some flags.
Okay.
That is the north boundary of the current easement.
Oh, we're just expanding
We're
the easement.
expanding.
And further in.
All right, that makes perfect sense.
It's we can't work on a hill
Yeah.
to do our trenching and digging to put in the
Okay.
line about 8 feet down.
That makes more sense. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions there? Okay, need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the utility easement agreement between USD 244 and the city of Burlington as presented.
Second? Any discussion? I second it. Discussion? No? Hearing none, submit your vote.
So that's the last thing you need to get those things ready.
Yes, correct. And so, motion carries, it tells me to sign that, and I'll do that tonight.
Okay.
Motion carries 6-0.
I want to thank Stan and the city
Yes,
council
thank
for
you
their
very
help
much,
in the project. We have had tremendous partnership with the county, with economic development, the county commissioners, the city, and us. That's what we need to do. We gotta work together, people. Gotta work together.
And hopefully we can see some future development there, and we good. Good for
Make
the
a
city,
requirement
good
for any-
everybody, so.
Make a
Just a
requirement
comment
for,
on the north side,
North,
The
yes, I'm
northeast.
toward the school.
yeah, the northeast by the rec center and the middle property,
Yep.
there is an easement through there. There's no water line in that easement,
Mhm.
okay? The house on the west side, there is, so we are prepared, whichever direction they set their houses,
To put the water line.
To adjust it.
to bring it to it.
Okay.
That's not a problem. The water's there, we just have to extend it. We don't need KDHE's approval to do that. We don't need
Okay,
anything like we did on this one.
all right, thank you for your assistance on all that, so, look forward to seeing that project develop. Anybody want that, they're gonna be for sale tomorrow. So,
Kind of steep.
Mr. Skillman, approval of the hay bid, so I think Aaron's here to see what we do. So the one thing I did see, Aaron, so the 3 to 5 year lease agreement, I think you wanted, as you know, we're talking about school and all that stuff, so we don't know, what that's gonna be. So I mean, I personally, I don't know if I wanna, we'd love for you to hay it, but I don't know if we wanna get in, I mean, I believe more in a 1 year continuing contract, I mean, so, or at least 2 years, maybe, so, what do you think?
to me, I think 1 year, just simply because we don't know what the future's gonna hold. And we have in the past opened it up every year to give everybody a chance to do the hay bid. So if you knew you were not gonna do anything with that land, I could see a 3 to 5 year agreement. But because of the uncertainty, I think you just wanna do one. And then next year at this time, depending on what you have decided, you may do a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 year agreement. So it could be multi-year.
And I could,
It's something to consider. Now, from the farming perspective of it, if you go and spray or go
I
and
know.
fertilize it, you can't carry it all. I mean, that carries on year to year.
I got you, so.
And so if we lease it 1 year at a time, no one's gonna do that. I mean,
I'd say if you could work with us at least for a year.
sure.
Yeah,
I
and that's what
understand
I
the
was gonna come
circumstances.
back.
I just was,
Look at this
Iron
first,
some stuff out.
something to consider, I guess.
look at this first year and then we kinda go from there, but so, and then we'll I'd hate for us to sign an agreement with you and all of a sudden they say they wanna move dirt.
And, I mean, I've signed agreements before, even like with the county and other stuff written around where we can sign it and then agree that if something happens, you know, it could be reimbursed or something like that moving forward.
I think something like it, you have a copy of one of those agreements? Send
No,
it.
I don't have anything.
Well, then,
Yeah.
come on, yes. Okay, we'll look at that, but so right now, I think just 1 year.
1 year's fine, and, probably just be hay, it ain't gonna be sprayed or anything like that moving forward for this year.
We appreciate you doing
At least you don't have to get cedar trees off.
Sure, and
Yes.
that was one reason, I mean, if you keep spraying it, that would,
Yeah.
I mean, it was hayed every year, but if, that's why the cedar trees came out, because when they come up this tall, you mow around them, because you don't wanna hay them,
Yeah,
and then they just keep growing. But if you can spray it or burn it or whatever, it will
but
knock it down.
definitely looks better after we clean it up, for sure,
Sure.
so if you need that, so, okay. Thank you very much.
What's
Any
the
other question? Huh?
cost to like spray something that size?
So, I don't know exactly how many acres are there, I think in the past, there were 17 acres, but
I think that's right.
per acre, the chemical was like, if I was a custom spray or whatever in that aspect, would be like $25 an acre to go to buy the chemical and the application fee.
So it really is only worth your money if it's a long-term deal.
Right,
Okay.
right, and even, I mean, there's some brome and, fescue there that's grown, well, that stuff, like your yard, I mean, you fertilize it, the better, well, it's like $50 an acre for fertilizer.
Well,
So, I mean, it all adds up and all that would
so So,
It will carry on year to year. I
so let me
guess.
do this, I would propose that we accept his bid, but should we need to get out of the contract, we reimburse him for his expenses, what he paid in kids?
Are we talking for a 3-year contract?
No,
or just
for the year, I mean, so.
Okay.
I think we're pretty good now because we did have the field taken care of in terms of getting the trees out, and it was sprayed at that
Oh,
time.
it was great.
Yeah, so I don't think we need that right
Okay.
now, but it could be
But
a
we'll look at that
potential.
in the future.
Yeah, it could, who knows, it could be something you look at in the fall doing,
Yeah.
if you see maybe the trees coming back up, or if, depending upon how things shake out with the proposal, possible proposal for a new elementary school, or if you stay with the add-on renovations.
Yeah, so if you see those popping up, let us know.
So where the brush was and they mowed it down or
Yeah.
whatever, I'm not gonna hay that. I'm gonna mow around that, you know.
Yeah,
But over time, if you keep it sprayed, that stuff's gonna decay and grass will start
Yeah.
growing up. And that, I mean, you can crowd in a little bit every year and
Yeah.
that will all go.
that's over in that south.
Well, there's 2 or 3 spots, it looks like,
Yeah,
you know. But however, I just,
well, we'll work with.
something to
so
consider
we-
with it, I guess.
I think it's
Glad
good
we
to
got
know,
somebody to, yeah.
it's good to know that you are interested in doing that for future
Yeah.
information for the board, so thank you.
Thank
So-
you very much.
On the motion, the suggested motion here, it does not have a number of years, but his, bid does say recommend 3 to 5. Do we need to add?
That's what we were just talking about, so we just wanna do 1 year.
Right,
now.
I understand that. What I'm saying is do we need to add that it is for 1 year to the motion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, I see what you're
right,
saying.
yes, I agree.
So would it be okay to say, move to accept the bid from Aaron Skillman for haying the 7 acres north of the BHAS ball fields in the amount of $15 per acre for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay.
I would agree.
And then assuming we have more of a decision, that long-term makes more sense
Yes.
going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, and I understand all the circumstances of everything going on and uncertainty, but.
I was hoping by now we could have given you a solid answer, but
Yeah,
I'll make a second.
yeah, motion second, who's second? Okay. Motion second, any discussion? That's, okay, submit your vote.
I'm taking it, that wasn't a real motion, that's what you said.
yeah. I felt like I had to do it. It's the first motion I ever made when I started with the hay bid, so kind of feel like I own it now.
That's fucking over for the first
Because I thought it was so ridiculous.
He's got black.
Motion carried.
Like first
6
dollar
zero.
earned.
Aaron, you got yourself a hayfield.
It's hanging fresh.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for looking at, so.
It just seemed like such a ridiculous thing.
What do we got left?
Oh, yes, we need an executive session,
For 10 minutes.
for 10 minutes.
Is that our last go?
Hi, everybody.
Who
We're
wants
still
that?
gonna wait and come back. Have a good night, thank you for,
Yeah, okay.
Unless you want to come back to the meeting.
thank you for site council and,
Mr. Baldwin, I'll need you.
and all your
Right now?
information.
Yeah, for this one.
Thank you all for coming in and taking off.
Motion,
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We'll get it to you tomorrow. if that's
Motion
okay.
to
motion
recess
recess, go ahead.
an executive, executive
I'll bring the
session
city.
for 10 minutes.
He wants 15, so.
15 minutes.
No, 10
Okay, motion to
is fine.
recess into executive session for 15 minutes. to
Oh, I'm
discuss
sorry, excuse me,
matters
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'll second it.
Elected personnel. Calmer related to job performance and to return to open session in this room at the end of the time, including Craig
Thank you,
Marshall
guys.
and Lee Baldwin.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'll second, someone already said that?
Seconded, yes.
Minutes for 15 minutes.
Any discussion,
Sorry,
further
John
discussion?
Press.
John
Johnny
seconded.
seconded. 15 minutes.
Yep.
Ready?
Vote first.
Yes.
Get the rest of it.
That might be the biggest debacle of all the motion.
items?
Thank you.
Thank
Any,
you.
Thank you.
Let me get back.
sorry, the meeting was a little longer tonight, we had some stuff to do, and so if you will get back with Christie as soon as you can, so we can have that work session.
I'll send out an email tomorrow, and I did wanna follow up on that with the dates. Are there days of the week that are better than others, I guess, instead of shooting out here's the whole month of.
You were talking about doing it in the evening still, right?
Yeah, I think so. Wolf Creek Fridays, is that still around, doesn't
Yeah,
matter?
spring break, I'm out of town.
I was gonna say spring break
Oh,
week.
yeah, when is spring
Like,
break?
It's
16.
16th through the 20th.
Yeah, so we can't do it that week, so that's.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
And I'm not saying it has to matter, but I'm out of town the entire next week for work, so.
So end of the month then,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, so.
But
that
if you
tells
guys
us-
need to do it the week I'm gone, do it the week I'm
No, we
gone.
want
If you
you
do it in
there.
the evening, I will more than likely be able to hop on remotely.
We want you there.
The
So
last week of March, is that?
Week of the 23rd.
last week of March, then somewhere in there, Christie, you can shoot
Okay.
for any of those days. And the evenings, so any day of the week is okay if it's in the evenings, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody's got sports or whatever with their kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
My kids aren't living enough.
Well,
I changed your mind.
Oh,
so-
we'll look at it and
You
see
just
what
recorded me
we
saying
get,
that.
and then we'll kind of go from there, so.
All right.
Okay, thanks for everybody's input. And adjourn.
Thank you.